All right, hello everyone. Thanks for joining our Friday afternoon webinar. Today we're going to be going through creating purchase orders in iGyro. So this is done in the portal, so there's some relatively new features in here that you can make use of. So we have gone through purchase orders before, but this is just a slightly different way of creating them. So to start with, we're logged into the iGyro portal here, and we'll just select the job from our jobs list. All right, so when we've loaded the job there, we'll click onto the Orders tab. And this is our orders screen. So many of you that are using, say, our service hub, so you're contracting, creating purchase orders and estimating to the service hub, you'll have your orders in here ready for you, ready to go. You won't really have to do too much. And that's to get a full bill of quantities for a job. Generally, our service hub will generate these purchase orders with BuildIQ, a separate software, which is a very comprehensive catalog of items. And that's what our estimators use. So when they bring purchase orders into here from BuildIQ, there's a button here to sync purchase orders with BuildIQ. So generally, your Service Hub estimator would do that for you. They'll come into here, click this button, that'll sync the orders into this screen here. All right, so we can see those orders down this list. They'll be, labeled something like this, where you see the job number, in this case CH190036 with a /, and then the cost center number. And if there's multiple orders on that same cost center, you'll see a load number at the end as well. So in this example here, we've got load number 2, 340.2. All right, so they're orders that are generated from BuildIQ and synced in. You've also got your create manual PO option. We have gone through videos before on how to use this. So I'll quickly just run through that process. So a manual purchase order is designed to just do it on the fly. If you need a really quick purchase order, you've ducked to Bunnings and you just need to do it, you can do this on your phone. So it's a very simple interface. There's only just a room for a description. You don't get line items in this like you would a comprehensive purchase order. So if you load this up on your phone or your computer, you'll create the manual PO, select the company. So you just begin typing your company name, and this will pull from your contacts list in Gyro. You'll select the cost center. So again, you can start typing. You can type the cost center number or part of the cost center name. Select that from the list. You have an option here to type in an email. So whatever email you type in here, this purchase order will be automatically emailed to. You'll type in an amount. So say it's $500 and it will calculate the inclusive of GST figure for you there. You just write whatever you need to in the description and click on save. So that's a very quick manual purchase order. You've got a prompt in a second to say you have completed that purchase order. It'll give you the purchase order number here. So in this case, M12. And it's been sent to you as an email as well as the person, or as well as the email address you typed in that previous screen. All right, so this number generally just increments here for manual purchase orders. So your very first one for this job will be 190036 / M1, and then continue on, in this case, all the way through to M12. All right, so we can see that's been generated here. So when they're generated, you'll see this link here as well. So if we click on that link, it'll actually show us the generated PDF purchase order. All right, so that was the manual there. Now, if we just move over to the next option here, we've got new order. So this is the button you may not be familiar with. We haven't really advertised this as a feature yet. So new order button, if we click on that one, it'll prompt you straight away for the cost center and company. So similar to what we saw before with the manual order, we can choose the cost center. And we'll choose our company. And click on save. So this type of order will bring us to a screen like this, and this one, it's probably going to be very problematic for you to do it on your phone. It's designed to do it at your computer. So when you're in the office, you'd sit down, you'd create a line item purchase order like this one. So it's got the company name here. So if you've got that wrong, you have an opportunity to change that here. All right, you'll notice that the purchase order number is slightly different here. So it's still your job number. It's similar in that it's using the cost center number here as well, but you'll notice it's got this G in here, and that's just a G for gyro, just to signify that it's using the gyro creation of purchase orders. All right, again, if you create multiples on this cost center, you'll have a load number at the end. So the next one will have G340.2. All right, so now instead of just free-form text in your descriptions, we'll have this new button here, and each time you click on new, you'll get a new line item that you can type in. All right, so you can itemize the details that go onto this purchase order. You have your units here that you can change. Maybe it's a per sheet item or a meter squared item. Your quantity and price should all be pretty self-explanatory. So if you double click on that, we can type a price in and it'll calculate that for us. Important to note, this is exclusive of GST price. That's generally how you estimate, is always exclusive GST. And we can type in a quantity into that one, and it will calculate for you as you go, and we'll get our grand total at the bottom. All right, so up to $900 there now. Now, these first two columns here, I've skipped over those. So this is code and reference. These, at the moment, are used just by our Build IQ items. So we'll have a look at that in just a moment, how Build IQ uses that. So for now, our purchase orders that we're creating here in Gyro are not linked to a catalog for these items. So there's still free-form text that you go into each of these line items. In the future, at some point, we may link up some form of a catalog where you can pick items from. But until then, these will just be blank. Generally, when you're creating the purchase order, like creating the actual PDF that results from this, they'll be sorted by the code. So if you really wanted to, you could put just numbers into this code, and that will help you sort the way the items show up on the PDF. All right, if we save that now, should just in here, I'll just show you as well. If you make a change to this, you'll notice this little red icon that shows up. So any field, any cell that you've edited will have this little red tag against it. So that's just to signify that you've got an unsaved change in that cell. So you'll notice when we click on save, those red items will disappear. All right, so that's our order there, G340. So we'll just click back onto orders now. All right, here it is here. So we've got our job number, G340 is what we've just created. And you'll notice this little orange exclamation mark. If you hover your mouse over the top, it will say generate PDF order. So when you, if we just shoot back to Build IQ for a second, if your estimator's synced in your Build IQ orders, you may get a list of these orders here that have all these orange markers on them. You can generate all of them by clicking and dragging to select all of those cells. Right-click in this load column and you get a few options here. One of those is generate PDF orders, and that will generate everything here that's got an orange marker against it. Or in this case, we just want to do just this one order. We'll just click that button. All right, so you can see that now that order number is now turned into a link. So we click on that. All right, that's our purchase order. So it looks exactly the same as your Build IQ purchase orders do. It's got line items here. It's just that these items were manually typed in by you, manually typed in your prices, and they weren't pulled from a catalog. So I'll just shoot back there now. All right, so we'll just shoot back again and look at a Build IQ purchase order. So just find a regular one like this one. You'll notice on this right-hand side, we've got this line items button. So if you wanted to see what was made up, what this purchase order was made up of, we can click on that line items option. And you can see here that the Build IQ items have a code in here. Sometimes they'll have a reference as well. All right, so these items are pulled from a catalog, and that's where the prices have come from as well. All right, so you'll notice there's no save buttons here, so you can't make changes to this one because it was generated in Build IQ and synchronized into Gyro. Click on orders again, and we'll find this one with a G in it. This is a Gyro generated one. We'll click on line items. And you'll notice here that we do have these save buttons and new buttons here. All right, so you can make changes to this. And we can save that. You can add a new line item if you need to. Well, you can see that these actually came out of order here from the number sequence that you put. If you want to sort them, just click on that column header there. We'll sort them alphabetically for you. All right, so that's saved. Now, obviously, if we make a change to this, we do need to regenerate these orders. So this goes for anything. So even Build IQ, if you make a change to the purchase order and synchronize it back in, you still need to generate the purchase orders again. So we go back to the orders again. So we've still got this PDF, but that will still be the generated PDF that we did before. So if you are going through and editing these, you'll need to make sure you delete the attachments out and regenerate. So as with all purchase orders, they live in the attachments under this folder here, under purchase orders in this supervisor folder. We'll find a new ones at the bottom, but you can search for those as well. All right, so I'll delete these two at the bottom. Actually, before I delete them, you'll notice here that we've got a no price order as well. So these files are generated with a price, but they also generate at the same time a no price order. So you can give that to a trade that shouldn't see the prices of these items. All right, now we've deleted the actual attachments. If we go back to orders, we'll notice here that this is no longer a link because the attachment isn't available. We've deleted it. We've got this orange button here again that allows you to regenerate that purchase order. All right, and that's our new purchase order generated. All right, so I guess that was pretty straightforward, hopefully. So if you've got any questions, please let me know on how to use that. But probably the next step to this is what you do with a purchase order once you have it. We have gone through this before. There's a couple of things you could do in this instance. You could either click on the link and do whatever you like with this file. You might like to save it somewhere. So you click on the save button, save it to your file system and email it any way you like. You could also right-click that link there and go copy link, and you could paste that link into an email. And that way, when you send the email, the person at the other end would have a link inside that email. They can click to download that purchase order. All right, and probably the best way to do this, especially if you're using the Service Hub to generate a full set of purchase orders for you via Build IQ, is to use the good old trusty Gyro desktop. It's worth pointing out that any of the orders you create in the portal version also end up in here as well. All right, so if you wanted to send one of these purchase orders out from the iGyro desktop, you'd be on the Orders tab. You'd select the purchase order that you're looking for and click on New Email. And the reason why you do this is because it will also select for you and attach automatically any attachments that are required to go with that particular purchase order based on the cost center. So you click on New Email, all the relevant attachments are attached as links here, and you'd address it to where you'd like to go to and click on the Send button. All right, so that pretty well rounds out our discussion about this new order button, but if you have any questions, please let me know. All right, no questions there. So thank you for joining, everyone. I'll make this recording available for you in our workplace group as well. So please make use of it. This button will be ready for you straight away. You can log in, it will be there for you now. If you have any troubles, let me know. Thanks for joining, everyone. Talk to you next time.